Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Fans of EastEnders are experiencing an unprecedented level of emotion following Yolande Trueman's sexual assault on Wednesday's episode of the BBC One drama. 10 years after Linda Carter's terrible suffering at the hands of Dean Wicks, the London-based program confronts the often concealed crime, with the beloved character portrayed by Angela Winter at the center of a devastating plot. Fans speculated that Patrick Trueman, Rudolph Walker, could take Pastor Clayton, Howard Sadler, by himself on Wednesday, April 17, 2024, while his wife concentrated only on her church fundraising. But rather than being reunited, the couple's relationship was shattered as tension built up to the point that Yolande forbade her partner from attending. Yolande was ecstatic to hear that Denise and Chelsea Fox would be lending a hand while the final details of the fundraiser were being finalized. Pastor Clayton, in the meantime, moved cautiously, gathering details about Yolande's recent altercation with Patrick before taking advantage of her in a locked cabinet. Later, she was observed trying in vain to comprehend and get over her attack as her assailant left. Just as the fundraiser got underway, devastated fans took to X, the former name of Twitter, unable to contain their anguish for the favorite, while Yolande cowered in quiet. Why, please, would EastEnders harm Yolande in this way? How dare you? An observer remarked. Poor Yolande, she should have never come back to the square, moaned someone else. While praising Angela Winter for her award-worthy performance, other soap opera viewers called attention to a award-worthy but powerful episode. Very significant and powerful episode, expertly performed. What a significant topic, an admirer remarked, and Angela Winter was amazing. Yolande could almost feel her suffering. The range of emotions in Angela Winter's performance is very remarkable. Excellent performances on #EastEnders tonight. I was so ill at ease for Yolande. Superb performance, said another, and someone more said, not Yolande, that was a very difficult episode to watch. Conversely, one soap opera viewer was eager for the heartbreaking plot to end, writing, "Oh Yolande, I hope #EastEnders wrap this storyline up quickly, crazy triggering. I didn't see a warning at the start either." In response, Yolande left the fundraiser as the installment came to an end, taking solace in Elaine Peacock's, Harriet Thorpe, companionship in the laundry room. The first occupant she confided in with her story was the landlady, Vic. Unfortunately, Yolande will face a great deal of trouble going forward because the trauma she experienced during her assault will keep her from going to church. Unaware of her suffering, Patrick will, like Pastor Clayton, urge her to continue living out her beliefs. Later on, when Patrick plans a romantic supper, Yolande is triggered by his advances. In today's EastEnders episode, there were upsetting scenes where Pastor Clayton, Howard Sadler, sexually attacked Yolande, played by Angela Winter. Given her experience with the pastor, Yolande was anxious in the days leading up to the fundraiser. Her stress level was further raised by a disagreement with Patrick, Rudolph Walker, and scathing remarks made by Stella, the pastor's wife. Yolande avoided contact with the priest as much as possible during her event, concentrating instead on raising much-needed funds for charitable causes. Later, when Yolande was by herself in the kitchen, the pastor appeared and menacingly shut the door, enclosing her inside with him. His attack on her was captured off-screen, but when viewers returned, they saw the typically resilient woman in utter disarray. Yolande, having had enough of the community center, went to the laundrette in search of comfort. Elaine, Harriet Thorpe, following her, insisted on knowing what was wrong. Fearless Yolande confided in Elaine about what the pastor had done to her, but in the second part of the show, she gave her an explanation for why she wanted to keep it to herself. She needed to make sure that the terrifying 60 seconds she had experienced wouldn't spoil her time with Patrick. It became clear in the second part of the one-hour broadcast that Pastor Clayton had a history of mistreating women. Viewers were taken to several eras where other women shared their stories, while Yolande thought back on what had occurred to her. The most unsettling thing is that, contrary to Yolande's fears, none of the women he had assaulted in the past were taken seriously. Yolande went home after urging Elaine to hold off on her attack, and Patrick had prepared an apologetic dinner for her as a way of making up for their previous dispute. Yolande obviously suffered a great deal from the attack, since she collapsed on the steps and was out of sight of Patrick. Will there be justice for Pastor Clayton? Honey Mitchell, Emma Barton, and Jay Brown, Jamie Borthwick, are about to go on a marathon, but Jay is soon troubled by other worries including stepdaughter Lexi Pierce, Isabella Brown, and Nadine Keller, Jazzy Phoenix. As her attacker, Pastor Clayton, Howard Sadler, continues to exploit her, Yolande Trueman, Angela Winter, becomes even more traumatized when her unaware other half, Patrick Trueman, Rudolph Walker, tries to be amorous. The reclusive best friend Whitney Dean, Shona McGarty, receives a major ultimatum from Lauren Branning, Jacqueline Jossa, while Dean Wicks, Matt D'Angelo, tries to persuade Jade Massoud, Elizabeth Green, his daughter, of his innocence. The London Marathon is approaching, and the square is a hive of activity. However, Honey convinces Jay to change his mind after Nadine's shocking revelation about her pregnancy. Billy, on the other hand, is late for the starting line since he needs to take Whitney, Zach Hudson, James Farrar, and Brittany Wainwright, Lola Campbell, to Andy. Billy eventually shows up to help partner Honey, but his misfortune doesn't end there. What happens to Billy as he and Phil Mitchell, Steve McFadden, race toward the finish line? Will he be present for Jay and Honey? Speaking about running the marathon as both herself and as Honey to Radio Times.com and other journalists, Barton broke down the plot's mechanics as follows. I'm going to treat it as a live episode. There are 3 scenes, so we really need to make sure that we all collaborate as well as we can. Thankfully, one obstacle we've overcome is that Jamie and I aren't talking as Honey and Jay when we're running. It is a massive thing for us because we're actors, not athletes, and it is really, really tough and time-consuming, and you just want to be the best you can possibly be. 2. Yolande Trueman's actions confound concerns Patrick Trueman. Yolande struggles as a result of Pastor Clayton's abuse, and when she recommends skipping church for the time being, Patrick and the pastor stress that she must keep up her religious practice. However, Yolande is filled with anxiety over the upcoming prayer gathering and becomes even more uncomfortable when Pastor Clayton keeps invading her personal space. When she gets home, Patrick has planned a romantic evening for them. However, Yolande feels triggered by his advances and quickly leaves, leaving Patrick perplexed. Yolande's pastor attacked her, but Patrick doesn't know about it. Will she be able to talk to him about her experience? Hourglass and the End Violence Against Women Coalition are partners with EastEnders. There is also a helpline for Hourglass at 0808 808 8141.